Hi, and welcome to the UK edition of Baking with Karen, the updated version from a couple of years ago, which you may have seen. I had a much bigger house, much bigger kitchen, and I made banana bread. And moving here to the UK to be a university student, I now have a much smaller kitchen and more budget items such as a 10 quid mixer from Asda. You may not realize, but cooking is actually very scientific. You can't just take these ingredients and throw them in a bowl and expect they're going to magically mix themselves. You have to combine the ingredients in a certain way, and then they have to be cooked at a specific temperature. If the temperature is too low, it won't cook. If it's too high, it'll burn and it won't be edible. And that's happened to me before, but we won't talk about that. The other challenging thing about cooking here in the UK is ingredients are slightly differently named, such as bicarbonate of soda is what we would call baking soda. Same thing, different name. And this is exactly how I make banana bread here in the UK.
The first thing is I need to combine all of my dry ingredients. Half of the flour, the sugar, the baking soda, and the baking powder. Baking powder is going to blow this up in the oven way above the pan height. And then a little bit of salt. Salt is the spice of life. Then it's time for the wet ingredients, such as the butter, which has to be measured in grams, not like a stick of butter back in the States. Peel a couple of bananas, throw them in very carefully. You want to have really ripe bananas to make it a really nice moist bread. A couple of British free-range eggs, and eggs are much fresher here in the UK, and 2 tablespoons of milk, which in that little measuring cup actually doubles very nicely as a shot glass. That's a student pro tip. Combine everything really, really quickly with the mixer, and at some point I'm going to throw in and add the rest of the flour that needed to be added, and as all the ingredients mix, a chemical reaction is happening within the bowl. Once all the ingredients are combined, everything can be scraped into the pan, which has been greased so that everything doesn't stick once it comes out of the oven. We pop it in the oven for an hour at 350 degrees, and then go catch a little inspirational British bake-off on the telly, because it's going to put me to shame and make me feel really bad about my baking skills. And after that, I get to actually see the result of my finished banana bread, which has blown up with all the baking powder. It's stuck in the oven, and out we come and put it on the top of the stove for a little bit of cooling. It's not too badly burned, so I would call this a successful attempt at baking, and that's going to be breakfast for the next week. As Julia Childs would say, bon appetit!